When we last saw Robin, the artful Joker had hung him on a gigantic Batmobile, along with dozens of giant palette knives about to slice him to slivers, with Bruce Wayne securely tied to a nearby chair in the monstrous mobile room of Joker's studio. In one moment, we'll find out whether Robin saved or shaved.
Hello, and welcome once again to Crazy Comics and Stories. It's me, your charming and delightful old Uncle Goody Two-Shoes. And we have a special episode this week. It's not as long as the others because what happened was when we were recording our special holiday geeking episode, about an hour and a half into the recording, my internet died. It decided it had had enough. I had to reboot, and then when I rebooted, we came back, and Jen had wandered off. If you listen to the last episode, Jen was drinking. She'd wandered off back into another room and passed out, probably on the floor. Heartbroken that she had missed out on the rest of this episode. Joe picked up right where he left off. But you know, there's somebody who's always with us, no matter what. They never get drunk, they never pass out, they never leave, they never have internet problems. Who's that, you may be asking? These guys, our sponsors. That's right, Solitaire Rose Productions has sponsors. And our first sponsor is the one who's been with us since day one, and that's DreamHost.com. DreamHost.com is the best web host in the whole known universe, bar none. Go to DreamHost.com, enter the code CRAZY, get $20 off your first year. How amazing is that? Our second sponsor is the Dollar Shave Club. I get amazing razors delivered from the Dollar Shave Club just for a few bucks, and I always shave with a fresh blade. Does this make me a genius? Of course it does. Now, if you use the website shave.by/C19DC, those of us here at Solitaire Rose Productions will get to wet our beak a little. We get a little piece of that, and that's what ads are all about. Our other sponsor is Gray's. Gray's delivers great healthy snacks to you weekly, bi-weekly, once a month, however you'd like. You can choose the kind of snacks you want. They're all amazing. They're all healthy. They're all good. And your first and fifth boxes are free if you use the code CORYS3R5. We love to hear from you, our fans, our beloved fans. Without you, there's no us, because then we're just talking to ourselves, and Lord knows I spent long enough doing that. You can email us at our brand spanking new email address at solitairerosenetwork@gmail.com. You can call us and leave a message, and we will play your message on the air. And that number is 952-856-0519. We have us a web page that is at Crazy Comics, KRAYZCOMIX.solitairerose.com. Over there you'll see some of our new sponsors and our brand spanking new Amazon store, so go check that out. We are also on the Facebooks. We're all over the place. We want to hear from you. If you would like to advertise on Crazy Comics and Stories or any of the other Solitaire Rose podcasts, go ahead, email us at solitaireroseproduction@gmail.com. Subject, advertising. If you have a comic you would like us to review, it's the same Gmail account. Just instead of advertising, put review. Or if you'd like to be a guest on Solitaire Rose Radio or Solo Joe, go ahead and email us at that same address with the subject line guest. These here podcasts come to you free because of our sponsors, so please go visit them. Crazy Comics and Stories comes to you free every week. Every Monday, we've got a new episode, and usually we have it up by Sunday night. It's also available on the YouTubes. It's available on the Pocket Cast, on the Stitcher, on the iTunes. It's all over the place. So go ahead, subscribe, tell your friends, tell every human being you know about Crazy Comics and Stories. Solitaire Rose Radio is a little more infrequent. It comes out about every 2 weeks. And Solitaire Rose Novelcast comes out every other Thursday. So get ready. The Solitaire Rose Podcast Network is growing. Join us. Be on board. Become a fan. Become a listener. Thank you. And I'd like to remind you that the annual Festivus episode is coming. Please send us your grievances. Send them to us via Facebook. Send them to us via internet. The email. You could call the phone line that was just talked about. You can drop by the house, knock on the door. The cat will try to attack you, and you can just leave them. Leave a note. Just tape it up on the door. It's not like I'm hard to find. But the Festivus episode is coming no matter what Joe and Jen say. It's an annual tradition. Give us your grievances. And now, back to the episode.
But I've never met Cory's ex. I only saw her once from across a gas station parking lot when we were dropping off the boy. And I so wanted to just lean over and give Cory a big kiss on the lips. I should have,
No. Joe, I think you're talking about my ex-wife, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. We're talking about a woman I dated.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's who I was referring to. How did she cope with your comics?
Well, Dan actually had a story because Jen has not answered me in any way yet, so she may have gone to bed. She was exhausted.
Yeah, that's true. I had a story.
Yes, you were starting to talk about it the time when she came to gaming.
Oh, no, I was like, that was the right one. I mean, she was, she put up with a lot of your geek stuff, because she actually showed up to gaming, and I can't remember if she actually liked it.
She got bored pretty quickly.
Yeah,
and your wife actually took her outside to chat about something.
Oh, no, that's an ex-girlfriend of mine.
No, there was mine too.
Was it Jules?
No, Jules took me outside to, smoke and talk and blah, 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 because he was getting really antsy. I eventually quit taking her to, shows and concerts and stuff, because you would take her to a concert or a show, and after about a half hour, she would go, "I'm bored and I want to leave."
Christ, okay.
To the point where there was one time she wanted to see whoever the lead singer for Soundgarden was.
Okay.
When he was on a solo tour. And I did not much give a shit about wanting to see this guy at all. But I bought the tickets, and it was over $110 for 2 tickets.
Oh, Jesus.
And during the opening act, she was like, "I'm really bored. Can we go somewhere and get something to eat?" I spent over $100 on tickets for a concert I don't even want to go to. We're staying till the second encore is over.
Yeah.
I can pick 'em.
Crazy.
Yeah, well, she's got a boyfriend now, and they have a kid, and good for them. I'm very happy for them.
Jen.
Yeah, she's not answering Facebook messages or Skype, so.
Yeah, she's probably out.
Yeah. So anyway, Dan, what are you freaking on?
No, we're past that.
Oh.
Cory, what are you freaking on?
All right, I am going to give huge spoilers.
Uh-oh.
About what?
So if you are watching The Walking Dead, you will want to skip the next 3, 4, 5 minutes or so, because I'm about to go on a rant.
Uh-oh. Hang on a second. I need to get a drink. Got my peanuts, popcorn, and Cracker Jacks. I'm ready. Rant time. Rant.
So a few weeks ago, they did a story where Glenn, who has been in the show since the first episode, was on top of a dumpster with one of the other characters. They were surrounded by zombies. They were trapped. There was no way out. And the other character, who they had shown that he was a coward, that all this stuff, he shoots himself in the head, and in doing so, knocks himself and Glenn off the dumpster into the crowd of zombies. Camera pulls back. We see the zombies ripping apart a body, Glenn's face in agony, the swelling music, all the visual cues that Glenn is dead. They then go to Talking Dead, and the episode is about, well, Glenn has died, and we're here to help you through that. And, of course, the creators of the show were very cagey. But if you go back and you watch it, Glenn falls off. They're completely surrounded by zombies. Zombies are pulling guts and eating them. And, the camera pulls back and it's, oh no, Glenn is dead. Well, and then for the last 3 weeks, they've told other stories because this season's all happening. They're having separate stories that are happening at the same time. And I said at the time, for Glenn being dead, it was a perfect episode. The last thing he said to Rick was a version of the first thing he said to Rick. In the plot, there's a character who's been bitten by a zombie and doesn't think he'll get back to Alexandria in time, so he gives them a letter that he's written to his wife because he's never going to see his wife again. Kind of paralleling the fact that, Glenn is separated from his wife and he may never see her again, and she has let him know that she is pregnant. Bookending. If you're writing, it's a perfect book ending. They foreshadowed it. He died. Well, do you remember back in the old serials where they would show the cowboy falling off the cliff and to be continued? And then when they came back for the next episode of the serial, it was a cheat. No, you know how you saw him falling off the cliff? Well, you didn't see him falling off the cliff because he jumped off his horse right as the horse was going over the cliff. They did very much the exact same thing. No, Glenn wasn't being ripped apart by the zombies. It was the guy who shot himself in the head, whose body had fallen exactly on top of Glenn, who was being ripped apart. And Glenn was able to crawl under a dumpster and hide for a day. And to me, you've just cheated. First off, the way he survived was stupid and cheap. And visually it didn't work. But also, you've cheated the audience. You've set up that he is dead. You've done all the visual tricks, all the storytelling tricks to let you know that he is dead. He's like the guy in the cop movie who says, man, I'm only 4 days to retirement, and soon I'm going to be on that boat with my wife. I haven't been able to spend time with her because I've been a cop, but now that I'm retiring, I can make it up to her. You know that guy's a dead man. So Walking Dead just fucking cheated, and it made the one of the things I love about the show is that it's a horror show. Anyone can die at any time. And they've been very good about the fact that, you know what? This is the end for this character. Well, now they've broken that compact. They've broken the rules that they've set by creating this cheap ending to save a popular character. Now, if you've read the comic, you know what happens to Glenn, and the only way I will accept that he magically survived through pixie dust and film editing is if what happened in the comic happens to him within 3 episodes. It's not right that they did this, and I'm pissed about it. Joe, what are you geeking on?
Don't watch Walking Dead, that's for damn sure.
Cory, could you tell us how you really feel?
Yeah, he holds back a lot. I got to talk to him off the air about that.
You know what the good thing is? Since Jen left the show and went to bed because she's exhausted, nobody's going to call me a fucking goody two-shoes now when I go on my angry rants.
Hey, Cory.
Yes?
You are such a goody two-shoes.
Bite me, puppet.
He probably will.
Oh, yeah, come on over.
All
Joe,
right.
what are you
Geeking on. I had a whole stack of comics to read, and I actually sat down to read them, but I did something else, which I'll get to in a moment. But I did manage to read Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. #1. I'm still not sold on the book, but there's been enough surprises and I don't know, just lunacy behind the characters that I think I'll probably stick around at least 6 issues to see where they end up.
I thought the book was a lot of fun because it's a bunch of Marvel monsters and weird characters. And while they've done this sort of thing a couple of times...
Now, Code Green!
And they drop in Man-Thing. It's drawn by Minneapolis native and one of our buddies from FallCon, Brent Schoonover.
Yep. So that's enough to get me to go.
And it's got Hip Monkey in it.
If we can, can we go back to freaking a bit? I mean, I was geeking on this book, Star Trek, Green Lantern, the Spectrum War. But as of issue 4, it's become apparent that the Green Lantern and Star Trek universe should not cross. Now, I dig a good crossover. I mean, I'm one of the few that I'm proud to say I saw the original Love Boat crew get on the Love Boat, that stupid CW remake that they were doing. I liked Star Trek Planet of the Apes because the big thing was the foes were of equal power. The Klingons, Federation, when you're on the ground on the planet, you could be taken out by the apes real easy. So it was an equal pairing. But Star Trek Green Lantern, there hasn't been anything anybody in the Star Trek universe has done worth shit except get possessed by a ring. And the best thing that the Green Lantern can do, our Hal, is to surround the Enterprise with a green glow and say, this is now what we're going to do. These two guys are so overpowered. I mean, and it couldn't work. I mean, I bought the Star Trek X-Men fiasco thing all those years ago.
I loved that.
But this is ridiculous. I mean, there is nothing that Kirk and company can do that's going to hurt any of the Green Lanterns. Like I said, the most impressive thing they've done is they've made some of the other lanterns, or some of the Star Trek crew, into various color lanterns. So, but I'm at the issue 4. I'll suck it through to issue 6. It wasn't all bad, though. I did get the new Astro City trade paperback, Private Lives. I have ranted on and on about Astro City for ages. And what I love to do is to pick up, after I've read this book, and go back and read some of the previous Astro City to see if we see clues where things have been dropped. And I just absolutely love it. If you love any type of superhero, you owe it to yourself to get you some Astro City. And it's too bad Jen went to sleep, because one of the things I did instead of reading my new batch of comics is I tore out an old bunch of comics, Larry Mauder's Bean World. Dark Horse had, if they don't have now, there's 4 books available, 1 through 3, and then kind of a 3.5 that reprints various other issues. We've been waiting, well, it was supposed to be 17 months. It's been about 5 years now for the next book. But it's a very simplistic style that berates a very complex process. And I'm just going to read off the book. Bean World's a weird fantasy dimension operating under its own rules and laws. It's about the infinity of life. All the characters, whether they are friends or adversaries, understand that ultimately they depend on each other for survival. One caution, please do not search for scientific or magical explanations, because you won't find any. It's a separate reality. It's not just a place, it's a process. It is what it is. And I was actually going to see if Jen was interested in reading it, because it has a kind of simpler art. Maybe she might, maybe I'll try to pick up some issues and wing them her way, see what she thinks of it.
You don't need to. You know the big bag of comics that I gave her?
Yeah.
Bean World was in it.
Ooh, cool. I'll have to see if she read it.
She has not. She's reading very slowly, because she's really kind of...
Well, she's been working a lot.
Well, she's been really working a lot on her art, and her job is about to go into its busy time.
She didn't even get a chance to plug her stuff.
No, but we can.
Well, let's do it.
Well, you can go to jinwicked.com. That's the hub. That's where all of it is. But I would like to bring some attention to, let me pull it up here on the internets.
The interwebs. Artists at Hi Hat Studios.
Let's see. We really want to plug her Patreon, because that's a lot of where, You can get her work early. You can really support her well. It's really kind of the important thing for artists. And let me pull it up here. Just go to support.jenwicked.com. It's got a video of how she does her comics. It's got a place where you can you can send her PayPal and she'll send you a card. But also she's got her Patreon where you can sign up, and I will just read through because she'll bitch about me doing this anyway. So why if she's going to complain, why not go all the way?
Out, yep.
That makes sense.
So if you want weekly updates for her to do her comic every week, she needs to make $500 a month. And she goes into that. But there's also what you get if you become a patron there.
Pledge $1
right.
or more a month. You can close your eyes, visualize the crumpled dollar bill slipping gently from your fingers into the weathered top hat of a redhead busking on the street corner. Busking? Everyone loves that.
Busking. That's when a musician is just playing music with the guitar case open. To start getting some art at $10 a month, you can request a quick tablet sketch that's put up on Tumblr at $25 a month. You can request a custom sketch posted to her Instagram. This is not a tablet sketch. This is one of her Sharpie sketches. And if you want to contribute more, you would have to ask, but those are the main ones. And she is on this show and also on a show that she is one of the 3 hosts.
The Comic Bros Podcast.
Yes. And I say she's one of the 3 hosts because when she's on this show, she says she hosts it. And the other 2 are like, wait a minute. I thought we all hosted it. So it's comicbrospodcast.com. Go ahead, head over and listen. They do a show every month. Unlike us, we do a show every week and sometimes 2 a week and sometimes 3 because I'm crazy.
And sometimes they're good.
Yes.
Let's not go that far, shall we?
Now, one of the reasons why I didn't read my big old stack of comics is because I have taken the plunge into Marvel Netflix. I watched the first episode of Daredevil.
Oh, so good.
My wife and I watched the first 2 episodes of Jessica Jones.
That one I have not seen.
Is it
yet,
good?
but I've heard nothing
It
but good
is
stuff.
very good. A very different tone on each of them. I've kind of figured, and I was trying to describe to my wife what it is. There's the Marvel movies, which are on the top of the pyramid. And then there's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is somewhere in the middle. And then street level is going to be the TV Netflix shows. And, of course, the fun part is all 13 are up. And as soon as we're done here with this here podcast, my wife and I will probably bang down another Jessica Jones. She's not as interested in the Daredevil, although I think I could probably get her to be because it's pretty cool as well. So that's pretty much going to curtail a lot of my comic reading. Although, like I said, I am voraciously putting up stuff on my eBay. I keep finding piles of different things. Like I just found a bunch of manga books. Not the ones we were talking about, but some of the different ones. Not sure where they came from, if they came from my old store, if they came from, like I know for a while my daughters were reading Love Hina, but I don't know if they continued or not. But, you know, and then I'm going through Silver Age, Bronze Age, what little Golden Age I have, and just having a lot of fun with that. So you can always check that out. Wolfie, what's got you geeking? What's got you happier than moist hand out of your rectum?
Oh, well, let's see. How many things could I go through? I mean, I personally, if people don't know, I am running for president of the United States of this Americas.
Got my vote.
Yes. Well, hey, that's me geeking right there. I got Joe's vote.
It's $20, by the way. Pretty cheap.
Oh, thank God. I thought it was going to be much more. Anyway,
Just
yeah.
reach back and grab it out of Dan's wallet.
No problem. It's only fair that my hand goes up his ass once in a while.
Yeah, fair is fair. And you are
Yeah.
fuzzy.
Yes. So, but I need you all to vote awesome in 2016.
So you're going to be drawing 2 presidential campaigns. Did I just slip a spoiler in there?
You did.
Stay tuned for more information,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Huh.
Okay, Wolfie, throw it to your hand master.
Okay. All right, Cory, what are you geeking on?
It was supposed to go to Dan.
Cory, is your hand somewhere it shouldn't be?
That's,
No.
I could have sworn that was your hand. I mean, it feels more calloused and...
It seems kinder because I'm a goody two-shoes, right?
Yes.
Ooh, you're doing it with your shoes.
Dan,
Yes?
what are you
Oh,
geeking
wait, huh? I'm not letting him talk.
What am I
Probably
geeking
better
on?
that way.
Yes,
Yes.
what are you geeking on?
I'm geeking on the fact that, like, I actually told you before the podcast, I finally got to the point where I'm happy with my setup, with my Cintiq, where I actually feel like what I'm drawing looks and feels like what I draw on paper. So I'm finally getting to the point where I think I can start drawing straight into the computer, which will save a ton of time. So that I'm freaking out about that.
So that means that there may be some comic strips that come back.
Yes, that is
Wow.
that is the hope. Now, if I only had time.
Time.
Yeah.
What the hell's that?
But no, that is my hope, is that we're going to be able to steam forward and get the comics up and running full blast again. So I'm kind of geeking on that. I also have, I can't go into a lot of detail, but on my day job, we've never mentioned it on here, but I'm actually a report analyst with a Fortune 500 company. However, they have started spreading throughout the company that I'm a cartoonist. And now people are interested in trying to figure out how to use that. So I may end up, by complete accident, changing venues into doing cartooning for, a full-time job.
Wow.
That,
Congratulations.
well, it's far off. It's not...
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but it's an awesome... Just the prospect has gotten me geeking beyond belief. I mean, to the point where Wolfie's not the only one who's wet.
Oh, Wolfie, you're the one.
Wolfie of London.
Yes, so I have all that. It's really exciting. I mean, it isn't... It's our own comics, but, they're better than anything else, right, Cory? Yeah. So, how about you? What are you geeking on?
First, in what little time I've had, I've read one new comic that I really want to recommend, and we talked about it back when it was in previews, and that is the comic Art Ops. It's drawn by Michael Allred. It's a new Vertigo book, and it is about a group of secret agents who save art in an odd way. The first issue is where they have discovered that someone is attempting to steal the Mona Lisa, so they remove her from the painting and put in a double.
Okay.
And then all of the people in this secret organization that saves art in this metaphysical way vanish. So our lead character has to find out what happened to them and more about what they do. It's a lot of fun ideas. It's a lot of weird ideas. And I've talked for a while about how Vertigo seems to have just gone to where DC does not give a damn anymore. They have a bunch of new books starting. This one is kind of one of the first ones, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And, of course, Michael Allred's drawing it. I will read anything Michael Allred does. Mystery Science Theater 3000 is coming back. They have a Kickstarter, which I could have ranted about last week, but I decided not to. It really irritates me when big media properties do Kickstarters instead of just going to studios and asking for money. But that being said, they met their first goal, so they will be doing new episodes. And what they didn't say is that there will be a new cast of people in the show. The Joel Mike character will actually be Jonah Ray, who's a stand-up comedian who's also on the podcast The Nerdist. And the evil scientist will be Felicity Day.
Oh, really?
Yes, they just announced that today. The other thing about Mystery Science Theater 3000, I know that we have already passed that when this episode is up, but they are doing online the annual Turkey Day. Back when it was on Comedy Central, they would call it Turkey Day, and they would just show episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000 all day. They are doing it online. You can watch it on YouTube. You can also watch it on your Roku using Pluto TV. Joel will have new wraparounds where he's talking about the Kickstarter. But I'm excited about Mystery Science Theater 3000 coming back because it was one of those shows that it wasn't really tied to a time. And I like the idea that, as Joel said, we're going to treat it a lot like Doctor Who, where every so often we'll just have a new host. Every so often get a new host. So if it does succeed, and well, it has succeeded, there will be at least 3 new episodes. But then once it gets on a cable network, I have no doubt that it will get renewed because it's really cheap to do. It does decent ratings. It sells a lot of DVDs, but it also, for one of the smaller cable companies, hey, there's 2 hours of content. And that's a lot why Comedy Central enjoyed it. It's, okay, here's 2 hours of content. Oh, good, that's 2 hours of original programming that we don't have to think too much about. And they would use it to fill up a lot of their time, and I can see them doing that again.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I am geeking on is personal. Well, no, I'll get to the personal later.
Oh, good. He's going to talk about us.
Well, maybe. Go to your Facebook and type in comic book historians up in the little search thing, and you will see a group. And it is a group of people who know far more about comic book history than I do. And they are actually posting like original art from the 40s, 50s, and 60s. They're highlighting important times in comics. I'm looking right now, and there's a bunch of Joe Maneely original art. Joe Maneely was kind of the go-to artist for Marvel in the 50s. And it is said that he was even faster than Kirby, believe it or not. I discovered his art about 15, 20 years ago now. And for the speed he had and the level of detail, it's just amazing, amazing art. There's a cover for an issue of The Black Knight and a cover for issue of Battle Action showing the original art, and beautiful, beautiful work. Oh my, Jin talked a while back about the cross-hatching. Joe Maneely cross-hatched like a monster. It's just some beautiful, beautiful ink work on this stuff because he did pencil sketching, but he drew directly in ink. Did not do the penciling and inking.
What's the name of the group?
It is Comic Book Historians.
Comic Book Historians. Okay.
Yep.
They've also got some of Brune Hogarth's last Tarzan art up. I'm just looking at what's there right now. There are some people bitching about the Stan Lee biography, which is one of the bad things about groups like this. There are a lot of Kirby fans who feel the need to bash Stan Lee. I always hate that. But there's a lot of original art, a lot of talk about original art. It is a closed group, so you do have to ask to join. And then the last thing is, when this is posted, I will be done with NaNoWriMo.
Yay!
And the novel that I've done is the 3rd in my series about a former professional wrestler who becomes a private investigator and is hired to investigate things in the world of professional wrestling, such as a murder or whether something was an accident or a murder, things like that. But I wanted to use a lot of the same ways that other people will do mysteries set in a specific subworld. One of my favorites is Johnny Porkpie's book, The Corpse Wore Pasties, which is about a murder in the world of modern New York burlesque. And there are a lot of novels like that where it's, okay, the murder is how we get into the world. So I have now finished 3 novels where the murder gets us into that world. But the reason I wanted to bring that up is I am doing Novelcast, and I've been pushing it, but not crazy. I have gotten 2 emails in the last week that have made me very happy. One from a book editor who has said that they really like the series and are kind of shopping it around to people they know.
Oh.
So I got that going for me.
Yeah, congratulations on that.
But the other one is from a very prominent comics blogger, Derek Coward, who does Comic Book Noise and all of the, quote, noise podcasts, where he's a guy who on his way to work will actually just flip on his phone, record a podcast, and post it. And he's been doing this for so long, he's got over 600 episodes up. He gave me a very good review and gave me a few ideas for improving it. So kind of excited that the Novelcast is getting some attention, kind of excited that I wanted this year to kind of move me toward being somebody who just wrote and got rejection slips to somebody who kind of took their writing in their own hands to own it and see what I could do to push it. And it seems that we're doing that. And, yeah, I'm geeking on both those things.
And in all honesty, I mean, listen to the description of your books. Okay, the wrestler turned private eye. I had to chuckle because, I mean, the idea just sounds a little campy. But in all honesty, you are probably the only person I know that would be able to write that and write it well.
Well, the cool thing about it is a lot of it came from the idea of, well, what do you do after pro wrestling? Because I read a lot of stories about people who, after they get done with pro wrestling, they don't know what to do with their lives.
That has to do with all the hits to the head.
No, it has to do with the fact that you're in front of crowds of 15, 20,000 4 or 5 times a week, and then when it's over...
What do you do? Yeah.
Yeah, you've spent your whole life training to do this one thing. And one of the stories, there's the movie The Wrestler.
Yeah.
There's also the stories about, like, Brutus Beefcake in 2003 was working in the New York subway as a token taker, and he got arrested because they thought he had anthrax on his counter when really he had just, okay, it's quiet, I'm going to do some cocaine. But it's very much in that thing that I enjoy. It's what happens after the fame goes away.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, this guy, the character is injured. He can't wrestle anymore. He can't go back to being a bouncer. He can't do this. What skills does he have that I could turn into a story?
Right. Nice. I like it.
And this last one really deals with what happens when you have to completely shut the door on a world that you've spent most of your life in. What happens when you have to walk away?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. That one will not be a Novelcast for at least a couple of years, though.
Sure, that's the one I'm excited about. You are a rat bastard. Don't tell Jen.
Well, believe it or not, kids, you got 2 episodes this week of us talking funny books.
They did?
Good for you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we're cutting this one into 2 episodes because I don't like going over an hour and a half, but I also didn't want to kind of kill the momentum we had going.
Gotcha.
Even though I did kill the momentum by having my internet say, fuck you, I'm going down.
Usually that's my shtick.
I know, I'm stealing Joe's gimmick.
And then he said he's crazy. I don't know what the hell I'm bringing to this podcast anymore.
Yeah.
Bad jokes.
I mean, I was able to provide the eating into the microphone.
I mean, other than mentioning the MSP Comic Con 2016 is coming on May 14th and 15th, 2016, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Sunday. Advance tickets on sale January 1st, 2016, www.mcbacomiccons.com. And I only mention it because we didn't mention it the last 2 episodes, and I don't want you to think I'm slacking.
Oh, yeah, well, the Holiday Geek Expo is happening before that on December 5th and 6th. On the 5th, it's open from 10 to 6, and on the 6th, it's open from 10 to 5. And advance tickets are available now, and that's actually a lie because they're not available because it's free to get in.
Woohoo, I like free.
And we'll be there.
Yeah. Wait,
Oh, I suppose
no,
I
don't
better
tell him
set
that.
my-
I want him to come.
I better set my alarm.
Yeah, you see, if you guys are going to tell jokes, maybe I should tell a joke on the show.
That wouldn't be any good.
Oh, come on. I have a good joke. You know, most women look at me and tell me I'm ugly till I tell them how much money I make. Then they tell me I'm ugly and poor.
Okay, that could work.
Cory, the only reason that's funny is because it's not a joke.
It's funny because it's true.
This is true. Ugh.
No, I was a pure goody two-shoes this weekend. Oh, my God.
What'd you do?
Well, I had to do my Christmas shopping. Now, first we go to Patina, which used to be a store which sold all kinds of cool, quirky, odd stuff and stuff you couldn't find anywhere else. And so it's like, okay, I like going there to get presents for my parents. Nope. It's a fucking mall store now. It's the same shit they have at the little gift section at your goddamn Walgreens or the tourist trap places. It was terrible. And Jen wanted to go look at Christmas trees because she had to leave her huge beloved Christmas tree down in Houston as well as many of her ornaments. And she's big on Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So she just wanted to look at them and see if maybe she could afford to get one sometime late next month. So she's walking through and she has the big, sad puppy dog eyes telling the stories of what she used to set up and how much, she did this and getting into detail about her different ornaments. And she's, looking and she tells me, the tree that she used to have cost like $400, but the one she's looking at now is this. And she's going around and she goes, yeah, and this is the tree I want. Hopefully I'll be able to afford it before Christmas. All right, let's go. So I tell her, well, you have a job, right? Yeah. They like you at your job? I don't know. Are they going to fire you from your job? Well, no. Well, then you can pay me back. So we pick up one of the trees. Here's the thing that I didn't know. Have you bought one of the fake Christmas trees lately?
No.
No.
The box has a handle on it, so you're carrying it like this big, gaudy fucking suitcase. Carrying this thing around Menards.
Yeah.
Then we put it in there, and it's like, okay, where would you like to go, to eat? And she's on Yelp, and she goes, well, the St. Clair Broiler, they're getting good reviews. Would you be willing to go there, Joe? Would I be willing to go to the St. Clair Broiler?
Maybe.
Seeing as how you and I have gone there like 1,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah. There's stuff you can eat.
Although I will never have their macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
I should have put that in the Geeking. Their macaroni and cheese made me angry. Because what they say is, rotini with a mix of smoked Gouda and smoked cheddar with breadcrumbs that is baked and blah, blah, blah. And you know what they bring out, Joe? They bring out a little pan that has some curly macaroni noodles, not fucking rotini. There's a little bit of cheese sauce, but it looks like they took a handful of shredded cheddar, put it on top, maybe put it in the oven, no breadcrumbs, no smoked Gouda, $10 fucking. You know what? I'd rather have 4 boxes of Velveeta macaroni and cheese at home because at least then they're not lying to me about breadcrumbs and Gouda. Sons of bitches.
Don't fuck with Strode's mac and cheese.
Yeah, apparently.
If you say it's there, if you put it in the menu, better fucking be on the plate.
So, Cory, you ever gonna, get rid of that old business from a few podcasts ago?
I have no idea in the world what you were talking about.
You promised one of our listeners, and he called you on the carpet about it, that you'd tell us what was your hang-up with Strangers in Paradise.
Well, Joe, you were actually there when this happened, because it happened in the shop.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Because I had heard Strangers in Paradise was good, And I think even at the time, Wizard was pushing it. So I subscribed and got it started with a mini-series, right?
Yeah.
And in the mini-series, one of the characters had stolen money from the mob and was hiding from them. So that was your MacGuffin. That was your thing that started the story. It's why she came into the other characters' lives. And she was scared that once the mob found out, they'd kill her. So she's hiding from the mob, and it's this big plot point. And then eventually they build up to the point where the mobster she stole money from finds her.
Dun, dun, dun.
So you're ready for the big confrontation, right?
Yeah.
Joe, do you remember what the mobster said? Yeah, I don't care about the money. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
So let me get this right. This character who's hiding for fear of her life, saying that she's going to be killed, they toss it off in yeah, it's not that big a deal. And after that issue came out, I went to Joe and I said, give me my pull list. And I grabbed the pull list and I crossed off Strangers in Paradise. And he asked me why. And I ranted about it for like 3 minutes. And he said, oh, I didn't even notice.
So what you're saying is Joe was the gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, no big deal. Not a problem.
Not a problem.
And it reminds me, there was a book. It's one of the first books that while I was reading it by a lake that I threw in the lake.
Oh, you did?
Now, not this comic, but there was a novel I was reading by John Grisham. And I don't remember the title of it, but the entire plot was this kid had witnessed a murder. And now he was being hunted by the killers. And he had a lawyer, and the lawyer was telling him, you need to go into the witness protection program. And when you go into the witness protection program, they'll give you a new identity, and they'll move you away, and you'll be safe. And the kid refused to go in the witness protection program because he'd watched a movie where somebody went in the witness protection program and was hunted down and killed. And he's like, no, if I go in the witness protection program, I'll be killed. So this lawyer has to do all these complicated things in order to keep this kid safe. And it's about the gangsters trying to get to the kid, and this. And then 50 pages from the end, for absolutely no fucking reason at all, the kid said, yeah, it's okay, I'll go in the witness protection program. There was no build-up to it. There was no reason for the kid to do it. He just finally, yeah, I changed my mind. Let's do that.
And the book went in.
And I read further to say maybe there's a twist that I don't know about. Maybe something happened. I get to the end, and nope, it's just the writer must have said, I have a contract for 100,000 words, and I'm at 90,000 words, and I need to figure out how to end the book. The kid changes his mind. Nobody will give a shit. And I took the book, and I was so mad that I just heaved it, and I was stronger than I thought because it went sailing over the small beach that my son was playing on, and out into the water where it landed with a very satisfying So writers, if you're building up to something, don't pull that fucking shit.
Otherwise, you're going to have Cory throwing you into the lake.
Thanksgiving's a bad time to be a bird.
God. Well, as we say every week, kids, the comic we like the least, we still like better than the comic that you like the most. Joe?
My wife asked me why I carry a gun in the house. I looked at her and said, Decepticons. She laughed. I laughed. The toaster laughed. I shot the toaster. It was a good time. Dan, you got anything to say?
The Holiday Geek Expo on December 5th and 6th. Am I doing it? Yeah, am I doing it right, Joe? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just got to wrap it in there.
Yeah. How about you, Wolfie? What do you say?
I like to say, play my music, boys.